Deacon Jones is one of the most feared football players to ever play the game, and he always had something to say. He would say things like sacking a quarterback is just like you devastate a city or you cream a multitude of people. And another thing he would say is, I'd make up my mind that I wasn't taking any prisoners and the wounded would be shot. Deacon Jones was a 14th round pick out of Mississippi Vocational College, which was later renamed to Mississippi Valley State. This may sound familiar because another top 10 player in NFL history went to the same small school, Jerry Rice. He is the only 14th round pick to ever make the Pro Football Hall of Fame and is one of the most unstoppable players in NFL history. Deacon Jones is not just the greatest Ram of all time, but is arguably the greatest pass rusher to ever play the game of football. Starting his career in 1961 for the LA Rams, the Secretary of Defense went on to be a part of the greatest defensive line in NFL history, according to Dick Butkus. The fearsome foursome was composed of Deacon Jones, Rosie Greer, Lamar Lundy, and Merlin Olsen. Greer, who was 6'5", 284 pounds and played D-tackle, was the oldest member of the foursome and was a two-time Pro Bowler and three-time All-Pro. Lundy, who was a 6'7", 245-pound defensive end, was a one-time Pro Bowler and a one-time All-Pro, and he also played some offense for the Rams in his career and had 584 yards and 6 touchdowns playing wide receiver. Olsen was 6'5", 270 pounds as a D-tackle, and he was a 14-time Pro Bowler and 5-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time second-team All-Pro, and is in the Hall of Fame. He also received the Burt Bell Award, which is given to the best player in the NFL by the Maxwell Football Club. Then finally on the fearsome foursome was Deacon Jones, who was 6'5", 272 pound, and a defensive end, and he was an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 5-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Hall of Famer, and was recently selected into the NFL 100 all-time team. Deacon was a menace on the football field, and in an era where the best quarterbacks attempted under 400 passes in the season, he accumulated 173.5 career sacks, which is third all-time behind Reggie White and Bruce Smith. As a comparison, the NFL passing leaders attempt over 600 passes in the season in modern NFL. This means with fewer opportunities, Jones was more productive and efficient. Deacon was truly a force to be feared, and he even stated, "When I see guys huddling up after the game to pray, that's what scares me about the game. I'm a Baptist, but I'm also a quarterback killer, and I ain't praying with you. But I will give you 30 seconds to ask your Lord and Master to keep me from killing you." Now, you might not see Deacon Jones on the all-time sack leaders, and that's because sacks were not registered officially until 1982. As a matter of fact, Deacon Jones is often credited with coining the term sacking the quarterback. In 1999, Deacon told the LA Times that his motto was as follows: "You take all the offensive linemen and put them in a burlap bag, and then you take a baseball bat and beat on the bag. You're sacking them, you're bagging them, and that's what you're doing with the quarterback." Deacon Jones dominated through the head slap, which was to slap the offensive lineman with one hand or both hands in an attempt to stun or even knock out the offensive lineman, resulting in instant pressure. Deacon described why he used the head slap as follows: "To give myself an initial head start on the pass rush. In other words, an extra step, because anytime you go upside a man's head or a woman, they may have a tendency to blink their eyes or close their eyes, and that's all I needed." The move was considered one of the most devastating in NFL history and was outlawed following Deacon's retirement. Deacon once stated, "The head slap was not my invention, but Rembrandt, of course, did not invent painting. The quickness of my hands and the length of my arms, it was perfect for me. It was the greatest thing I ever did, and when I left the game, they outlawed it." Getting more into the statistics, few can rival Deacon Jones. He had 3 seasons with 20-plus sacks, including 2 22-sack seasons and one 21.5-sack season. From 1964 to 1968, Deacon Jones averaged a ridiculous 20.5 sacks per season. Remember, Michael Strahan holds the official sack record with 22.5 sacks in a single season. And there have only officially been 12 20-sack seasons in NFL history. This means over a span of 5 years, Deacon Jones averaged what only 11 players have ever done once, twice for J.J. Watt, in their career. Deacon Jones' best seasons came in 1967 and 1968, where he was the Defensive Player of the Year in back-to-back seasons. Only J.J. Watt and Lawrence Taylor have accomplished this feat. In 1967, Deacon had 21.5 sacks, along with 1 safety, and in 1968 he racked up 22 sacks. These were 14-game seasons, making these numbers even more impressive. Deacon Jones is one of the most violent and impactful players in the history of football. He and the Fearsome Foursome inspired D-line terrors like the Purple People Eaters and the Steel Curtain. But to be clear, Deacon Jones was not dirty. He was just absolutely terrorizing with his pass rush moves. Hall of Famer Frank Tarkenton once said, "I played against him 1,000 times. Never once did he hit me below the knees. Never once did he try to clothesline me. Never once did he have a dirty play. He was a fair player and a great player." Many former coaches and players and writers have had high praise for Deacon Jones. George Allen declared him the best defensive end ever. Paul Zimmerman said he was the best defensive end of the century. His dominance led to the advancement of the league, making it safer for offensive linemen, and in our era of safety, we can appreciate this. In 2013, Deacon Jones died from natural causes, but it is good to see he is still being honored for his dominance on the football field. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more content on the history of football, hit the subscribe button as well. If you want to see a specific player in our next video, comment it down below and we'll make sure to get back to you. But that's it for this video. We'll see all of you again next time.